Hi, my name is Kanishk Sinha, and I work for the Indian Enlightenment. And our goal over here at the Indian Enlightenment is to really to promote a humanistic society in India, and that really has two founding principles. One is a belief that the best and most reliable way of acquiring knowledge is evidence-based rationality. So we don't believe in superstition. That's something we don't believe in, or dogma. And the second principle is that the best guideline for ethics, the best system of ethics, is based on compassion. Those are two principles, So evidence-based rationality and compassion. That's the kind of India we'd like to see. One of the things we believe that is getting in the way of achieving this is the level of journalism that we're currently seeing, increasingly less objective and perhaps even lacking in integrity on certain occasions because of corporate interests or whatever biases there are. And what we wanted to talk about just now is how you can read newspapers or articles or magazines and be able to see through some of those biases, because what's happening is people are presenting their point of view as if it's a fact. And how do we quantify that? How do we measure that? We're going to present some tools on how we can do that and become more skillful at seeing through some of these mechanisms. So to start off by explaining what I mean, let's have a look at an article, right, or a couple of articles to explain what we mean. Now, in journalism, there are two types of articles. There are what we call objective reporting, right, which is what we can see here. Here's a story. Park Court declares Lakhvi's detention illegal, orders released. This is just a statement of a fact. These are objective statements. There is no opinion being presented over here. However, on the other side, we have what we call opinion pieces. So, for example, new insurance bills reins in agents, brokers, but not enough to protect customers. Now, whether it's enough to protect customers or not enough to protect customers, well, that's an opinion. It's not a fact. Different people can have different views on that. And also, this word reins in agents. Now, that's also a bit of a subjective statement, because rein sounds like it's constraining, etc. Some people feel it's reining in. Some could even say, hey, no, it's enabling them. So that's a subjective statement. Now, there's no problem with having opinion pieces. It's great. We hear different perspectives, different points of views. And of course, it's great to have objective reporting as well. We get to hear the facts that are going on in the world and the events that are happening. The problem happens when people present their opinions as if those are objective facts. So the way they see things is actually the way they are. And so to explain what that really means, we're going to look at an article and explore just how we can, how this can start influencing us, and also what we can do about it to make corrections for that. So one of the things, for example, here's an article which says, 28 years after Rajiv Gandhi's near disastrous visit, confident Modi strides into Sri Lanka. So what we can see over here is that it's some sort of comparison between Rajiv Gandhi and Modi. And clearly over here in this article, Modi is being compared favorably to Rajiv Gandhi in that respect. The question is how much, how subjective is this article, and how much of a position does it take? In order to analyze this, what we're going to do is let's transfer this to a Word document. And of course, we wouldn't do that on a regular basis, but just to illustrate how we would go about understanding this. There are four different types of subjective statements we're going to look at, positions. Those statements that praise Modi, which we're going to highlight in red, those that criticize Rajiv Gandhi in orange, those that criticize Modi in blue, and those that praise Rajiv Gandhi in purple. Now, the ones that praise Rajiv Gandhi or criticize Rajiv Gandhi, the red, orange, this is the pro-Modi, anti-Rajiv Gandhi statements. And these ones over here that criticize Modi and praise Rajiv Gandhi are the the pro-Rajiv Gandhi, anti-Modi statements, right? So if we look at the headlines to start with, what we can see is, 28 years after Rajiv Gandhi's near disastrous visit, confident PM Modi strides into Sri Lanka. Now, clearly, this is not an objective statement. An objective headline would be 28 years after Rajiv Gandhi's visit, Prime Minister Modi visits Sri Lanka. That's an objective fact, no disagreement with that. Whether Rajiv Gandhi's visit was disastrous or fantastic, etc., that's an opinion. And so clearly that's one that is critical of Rajiv Gandhi. Confident Modi, that's clearly something that's praising Modi. Even this word strides, for example, it's subtle, but this is not an objective statement. So if it was PM Modi visits Sri Lanka, that's a neutral statement, it's an objective statement. Strides has a visual imagery of power, of lions, of confidence. So this is actually subtly praising Modi, and that's why we've got this in red. Now, as we go through this, what we can see is some statements are objective and some are subjective. So optics, symbolism, and body language are crucially important in diplomacy. This is an opinion. Whether it's crucially important or not, that's an opinion. It's not a fact. There are two subjective phrases here. Not only is it important, but it's crucially important. So two subjective phrases over there. If one goes by that, Prime Minister Modi has made a powerful statement in Sri Lanka already. Powerful is clearly praising Modi. Already is also praising Modi. It's not clear that it is, but it's an unnecessary term. So you could just say Prime Minister Modi has made a powerful statement in Sri Lanka. That's complete by itself. But when you add already, it implies he's doing it speedily. So there's actually two praises in the statement that are kind of hidden over there, or not very clear. He came with folded hands, stretched out his arms with an open mind. Again, folded hands implying humility, stretched out his arms, friendliness, open mind, openness, etc. In bitter contrast, the last time Rajiv Gandhi was there, so that's a critical of Rajiv Gandhi's statement. So we would go through that and put these into different buckets. There's a lot of statements over here, and not all of this is against Rajiv Gandhi. So, for example, over here, they would say Rajiv Gandhi had not been alert and ducked, he may have died on the spot. This is about an attack on him. He could have just said if Rajiv Gandhi had not ducked, that would have been neutral, but if he had not been alert. So this is actually praising him for his alertness. And there are parts in this article which does say, hey, it does not mean that the Congress rule India did not have good relations with Sri Lanka. So there are, one way or the other. But you do have places where it says, ever since the IPKF blunder, again, that's a subjective. Whether it was a blunder or not, different people can have different points of view. So what we would do is then categorize it and see, how many statements are pro-Modi, critical of Rajiv Gandhi, praising Rajiv Gandhi, critical of Modi. And what we see is there's also some neutral subjective statements that are subjective, but they're neither for one or the other. So the total number of subjective phrases we've got is 36, and total number of sentences 31. You can easily calculate that by counting the number of full stops using the word search. And so the TIE Psi, which is what we call the Indian Enlightenment Subjectivity Index, the total number of subjectivity phrases divided by total number of sentences, 31, multiplied by 100, that gives you a TIE Psi of 116. A completely objective article would have 0 TIE Psi score. So the cat sat on a mat is a TIE Psi score of 0 because there are 0 subjective statements and 1 statement, so 0 divided by 1 becomes 0. If it was the pretty cat sat on the mat, that's pretty is a subjective statement, so that's 1 subjective phrase divided by 1 sentence, that would be a TIE Psi score of 100. And if it was the pretty cat sat on the ugly mat, it would be 2 subjective phrases divided by 1 sentence, so the TIE Psi score of 200. Completely objective but boring report probably would be TIE Psi score of 0, and a very highly subjective score would have a very high TIE Psi score. The second thing to calculate would be how much of the statements are pro-Modi, anti-Rajiv Gandhi, and how many are pro-Rajiv Gandhi, critical of Modi. And over here we can see 67 plus 17%, 83% are pro-Modi, anti-Rajiv Gandhi, and 17% are pro-Rajiv Gandhi, anti-Modi. And so if we look at the Indian Enlightenment Positionality Index, which we call the TIE Pi, that gives us 83% score. And another metric we could do is what percentage of the facts that are stated are actually accurate, and that would be the TIE Lie statistic. So those 3 things over here, you can see if we do a pie chart, it's basically mainly it's red and orange over here, so it's mainly of an 83% towards Modi, 17% towards Rajiv Gandhi. That is a mechanism for evaluating the level of subjectivity, which is the TIE Psi index, and the level of positionality, which is the TIE Pi index. And over a period of time, we could do it for articles, we could do it for journalists. So you could do that quantitatively, but more importantly than that is understanding how to read these articles and magazines such that you can see the position that's been advocated, not clearly, which somebody says, I prefer Modi, that's a fact, they do prefer Modi, that's not actually even a hidden position, but if they say he is better he's neither better nor worse. That's the opinion, and this way of looking at articles will help you see through some of that and make some of your own decisions. So I hope that's been helpful for you, and best of luck. Have a great day, and I hope to see a better India with the rest of you. Take care. Bye.